We are the Galactic Federation, and we greet you in the love light of the One Prime Creator. We greet you again today from our Saturn Council in the hope that our message will be taken with discernment. And we want you to preserve your free will, accepting only those messages that resonate with your heart and leaving the rest behind without any thought. Today, this instrument seeks to know why your people have stopped going to the moon. The moon enlightens your night sky, appears as a remarkable and large object in the sky to your kind, and more importantly, we are connected to it. None of the beings on Earth can avoid the frequencies of the moon. It acts as a regulator of Earth's tides and life's biological cycles on your planet. The moon's importance to your physical existence is second only to that of the sun. The last known human infringement on moon from your planet occurred in the year 1972. During this infringement, your so-called astronauts discovered massive debris of spaceships that had been destroyed in the war many millions of years ago, of which we are going to tell you here today during this session. Also, your astronauts discovered an underground base on the moon during this time of infringement. The few entities from your planet that were involved in the mission also saw many spaceships around the crater of the moon. At no time were your so-called astronauts alone in space. They were constantly being monitored by the beings who were on the moon bases at the time. The evidence of this can still be perused by your kind via the vibratory sound complex recordings of transmissions that occurred during this interspace travel to the moon. However, most of it has been sealed in secrecy in order to not create mass hysteria. At that time, inside the moon, there were many interplanetary beings who were part of the Galactic Federation, who were observing your kind and asserting your kind without direct infringements. Many of your entities that were on that mission in 1972 were met by many of the intergalactic species and told not to infringe on their base on moon. They were further explained that moon was used as a guard area that was guarding planet Earth so that unnecessary infringement would not be allowed. A treaty had been signed with the representative of your planets at that time, stating that this moon non-infringement would last for the next 50 years of your time-space. That is, till the year 2022 of your time-space. No infringement on moon would be allowed. The moon was a base for our Federation of Planets. Let us tell you a brief history of how the moon was used and created. Your moon was first created in an artificial manner to act as a special tactical station by the Orion Empire fleets. It formed a part of the fleet that conquered your solar system about 1 million years ago. The moon's purpose was to act as the main defense coordinator. When we came to liberate your solar system about 800,000 years ago, this planet and its armed moon were a major threat to our success. Our incoming fleet deployed a powerful battle planet of its own to destroy this Orion Empire base. It was reduced to rubble, and the result led to the creation of the asteroid belt. The battle moon was temporarily thrown into an erratic solar orbit that ran between Earth and Mars, and finally, about 125,000 years ago, was placed into its present orbit as Earth's moon. Your moon is a unique construction. Before it sustained several battle damage, it had a thick Earth-like atmosphere and several oceans and seas. Scattered across the seas were many small land masses where reptilian and dinosaurian engineers created an ecosystem similar to ones found on Moon in any human-stewarded solar system. The aim behind this terraforming was to disguise the true purpose of this sphere. Beneath this veneer, the Orions had constructed a metallic globe out of a special titanium alloy, whose special properties could not only greatly magnify the cloaking shield around the main weapons and control stations found in its core, but also maintain the illusion of the Moon as a benign and quiet natural satellite. Its interior housed 15 levels containing laboratories, control centers, and 20 major weapon stations. When our Galactic Federation battle planet infiltrated the Orion headquarters, this moon fired upon and caused major damage to our battle planet. In the ensuing retaliation, this battle moon was severely damaged and thrown into an orbit between Mars and Earth. Once in solar orbit, the battle moon was captured and boarded by our Galactic Federation forces. It was deeply scarred and adrift. Later, when the Orions and their off-world allies, the Reptilians, decided to sink Lemuria, this moon was retrieved, partially refitted, and moved to its present spot as a proxy for one of Mother Earth's two natural satellites, both of which had been used in the destruction of Lemuria. This moon was used until very recently by the reptilian humanoids in coordination with their Orion allies as an orbiting base to observe and control what was happening on the surface of Mother Earth. The moon was now disguised as a lifeless orbiting body, but beneath her surface, the interior base had been completely modernized and organized as a mothership controlling a large hidden fleet within. The remnants of its former luxuriant ecosystem were mined for the minerals and ores needed for the constant renovation of the base and its fleet of spacecrafts. Then in the early 1200s of your time-space, we, the Galactic Federation, annexed a section of this inner moon base, which then served as our primary headquarters here until the early 1300s. During this time, we watched the Orions, the reptilian humanoids, and elements of the Orion Alliance work together to control your world and further their dark agenda. The manipulation had been going on for millennia, but is now approaching its prescribed end. The divine timing for this was the first decade of your 21st century. Procedures and programs of various sorts already set in motion in your society made this shift inevitable, and our role in this was to move rapidly when so directed by them. We were to remain in place and be always ready to complete first contact when your representative ascended masters gave us their go-ahead. Our section of the moon base was under constant duress from Orion Alliance until the mid-1800s. Then some of the Orions changed sides and helped us to take over the whole moon base without arousing the suspicions of Earth's humanity. The unified moon base became the center of our Earth operations. The moon base coordinates a number of inner Earth bases set up at facilities that were created after the fall of Lemuria. Here we monitor the hidden activities of your people and maintain a close and continuous surveillance of your world and the workings of the last remnants of the dark. The last cabal is closely watched for any transgressions it might attempt that go beyond the limits set for it by your ascended masters. From our moon base, we can swiftly interpret their machinations and take decisive countermeasures. Needless to say, we prevented many of their more dangerous and heinous plots from manifesting. And in the meantime, their unconscionable agenda had become increasingly apparent to many individuals and groups in your global society, thus allowing our Earth allies to garner new associates from among them who are now deserting this cabal in droves. While certain important activities such as the foregoing are orchestrated from the moon base, our command center for the entire operation is on Saturn, hidden within the vastness of its rings. The constitution of Saturn, as previously noted, is quite different from the ecological reports offered by your science. This moon is filled with historical implications. In the year 2009, your people, in a vague attempt to remove our bases, bombed the moon. However, not realizing that we already knew about your kind's intentions had moved out of the moon area a long time before. Hence, no damage was done to our kind and those species whose purpose is to observe your kind and not allow any infringement upon your planets. There are few remaining observation bases upon your moon, as you call these satellites, which are at this time being shifted to the Saturn rings. In many of your cultures, the moon represents the feminine, the sun the masculine. The energetic basis of your reality is primarily defined through the aura, but it is also defined in terms of the luminous stance of light in all beings and in all living objects throughout the galaxy and universe. Everything is at a particular vibration and a particular light frequency. The term that we use to describe different light frequencies might not comply with how you use this terminology. So we will simplify it and say that there are higher light frequencies, middle light frequencies, and lower light frequencies. As per the agreement we had made with your kind's representatives in the year 1972, your kind were forbidden to go to the moon till the year 2022. Exactly 30 years' time would be required for us to move completely from moon base to Saturn base. This is one of the reasons why during this period of time there have been no manned moon infiltration from your planets. When you become resonating spiritually with higher light frequencies, that means your aura and energy field will begin to vibrate in a similar pattern of light as those frequencies. When you can resonate or vibrate at a similar light, then you can receive and interact with that energy. It does not necessarily mean that you are at the same level of frequency, but you are able to resonate with it through a harmonic energy. Today, we leave you, beloveds, in the love light of the One Creator. Bye.